Hey guys, Chris back again with another video for you. And today is going to be my top 10 horror movie recommendations for the Halloween season. So I hope you enjoy these suggestions. They're all from my physical movie collection. I could suggest more than this, but I wanted to stick with just stuff I can show you from the collection. So let's start with this one of my all-time favorites. It's Dawn of the Dead, the original George A. Romero 1978 version. The remake's good too, but obviously I prefer the original. It's very groundbreaking for its time. It's a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, so they kind of amped up the scale. It's some survivors that leave the city and then they take off in a helicopter and find a shopping mall that they decide to land in and try to survive inside. The conflict's pretty cool. They got to clear out the mall, so it's got kind of that zombie survival aspect to it where you got to clear out zombies and then take over all the supplies. I really like that aspect about it. It's a bit more like a comic book movie as they described it. It's more action and fun, I guess, even though it's still horror. It's still got amazing gore that makes me wince still. Tom Savini did the special effects in this, and he's really good at what he does. Just some of the zombies in the crowds look a little weak, probably due to the budget. They're just like painted with gray faces. But there are plenty of special zombies that get close-ups with really good makeup effects with the gore and everything. And yeah, whenever I see a zombie bite into someone's arm or neck, it just makes me wince because the way they make the skin stretch out and rip and the blood squirt out, it's still nasty to see to this day. But yeah, they clear out the mall and start living there. There's a lot of fun scenes once they clear out the mall of them just enjoying all the spoils. But eventually someone challenges them and tries to take over the mall. So it's a really interesting story overall. I don't think the remake is quite as good, but it's still fun to watch. I have seen this on the 4K format, but I do not own it yet because the 4K disc is UK only, I believe, which is fine. 3 of the discs in that collection work fine on US players, but there's one bonus disc that's region locked in it. So I don't want to pay $40, $45 for that 4K set just to have one of the discs not work on my player. So I'm still waiting for a US release, but this looks really excellent on the 4K format. It really, like, stuff with practical effects really works well on 4K video. And it's got really good HDR in that version. But yeah, this is my original, I guess, DVD version. I like the disc art, though. The zombie head. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but it's a good time of the year to rewatch it, right? All right, next up. This one's kind of a mix of horror and, I guess, like, teen drama almost. The Lost Boys. It's about a family that moves to California, and there's some weirdness going on with maybe vampires. Well, yeah, it's obviously vampires, but yeah, it's just got a nice style to it. It's very 80s. It feels to me a little bit short. I'm not sure what the runtime of this, but like everything gets wrapped up really quick, the whole conflict, but it's got some cool scenes and it's just the vibe of the 80s that's really awesome about it. And plus it's got the saxophone man, and that's one of the best things about it. But yeah, Lost Boys, I got this recently on 4K and it looks really nice on the format. Maybe not the best 4K I've seen, but obviously it's one of the best ways to watch this one. So yeah, this is a good one to watch on Halloween. All right, next up, another 4K I got recently. That is the Bram Stoker's Dracula one. And yeah, this is the 90s Bram Stoker's Dracula, because I think I don't know if the earlier Dracula movie was called Bram Stoker's, but yeah, there's many iterations of Dracula, and this is one of the coolest ones in my opinion. You know, it's got Keanu Reeves, which his accent in this is pretty silly. Winona Ryder, the Oven Dodger, is in this. She's okay in it. I'm not the biggest fan of her, but she did a good job. So, yeah, it's Francis Ford Coppola. he did a good job with the atmosphere of the movie. Looks really cool. Just the overall story is really neat. For the time, it really modernized the Dracula story, which I quite liked. And this looks really good on the 4K format. So this is one 4K I would really recommend. I think I only paid like $8 for this on 4K, so it's definitely worth it. All right, here's another one. This one, which I'll hold up, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the 4K Steelbook version. You can see there, it's 2 discs. Some sort of poster in there as well. Very cool Steelbook as well. I like the color scheme of it. But yeah, this is a classic. This is an example of horror that doesn't have to show the actual gore effects in it to be scary. It's very atmospheric. Later on, you know, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 leaned more into the gore horror type of movie, but this doesn't really show the kills so much, which I like. It's more just implied what they're doing to their victims, which is cool. It's obviously you know, in Texas. It's some teenagers taking a road trip, and they stop by, I think, a relative's house to, I don't know, check it out and mess around there. And then they eventually wander off, and bad things happen when they run into the family. Very classic horror. The video game for this is pretty fun, even though I'm not a fan of games that are competitive only, but I did have quite a bit of fun playing it with friends on a Game Pass trial. But yeah, this 4K is about as good as it can look, because I think this was shot on 16mm film. So it gets a little benefit from the 4K format, but not as much as other movies. The HDR does look really cool in some of the scenes with like the sunset. Looks really good with the colors. But yeah, this is really good atmospheric horror. If you haven't seen it, which I don't see why you haven't seen it yet, you need to. Especially this Halloween. All right, we got another George A. Romero zombie movie, and which one do you think it is? Is it Night of the Living Dead? Is it Land of the Dead? No, 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 it's Day of the Dead. And I've got this classic, like, cardboard digipack DVD from back in the day. I like how it folds open. This manual's about to fall out. Pretty cool. It's got, was it 2 discs? Yeah. And it's got this little, like, I don't know what this is. Let's take a look at this. Some sort of pamphlet. Oh, it's almost like a notepad. It opens from the bottom. It's got a bunch of notes on it. So, I mean, this is, I think this is on Blu-ray as well, but not 4K yet. The zombie with her titties out on there too. But yeah, this is one I really want them to do on 4K. Obviously, there's a Blu-ray, which can look pretty good, but I want to see this in the 4K format. I love the doctor there. But yeah, this is basically sometime after Dawn of the Dead. The military is kind of hiding out in their bunker, and they're doing research on the zombies to try to figure it out. But the group in the underground bunker slowly falls apart, and that's where the conflict comes in, and eventually all hell's gonna break loose and zombies get loose. A lot of it is just like character drama. Like, there's zombies obviously, but for the first part of the movie, it's a lot of just the characters interacting with each other and kind of falling apart because they're running out of supplies and stuff. So yeah, it's very cool. I think maybe as far as the overall story, it's not quite as good as Dawn of the Dead, but special effects wise, this probably has some of the best zombie gore ever as far as practical effects. I think it is again, yeah, it's Tom Savini again. I forget what year this one was. It was in the 80s, but yeah, it's a little bit of an upgrade to Dawn of the Dead, which was in the 70s. So the effects are a little bit better. I think he ran into budgetary problems in this, so it wasn't the full scale of what he wanted. But what he did with it was pretty cool. It's really gross with some of the kills. One guy just gets ripped apart. He gets his torso ripped in half, and you see his guts spill out. It's really fucking nasty. But yeah, if you haven't seen this yet, I highly recommend it. hopefully we get a 4K of this pretty soon, because I would definitely buy that right up. All right, here's another fun one. And that is Silver Bullet, which I also got on the 4K, which I think came out last year. And this one is pretty scary, but it's got a lot of just goofiness to it, which I like. Corey Haim's in it. The one guy from Twin Peaks. What is his name? Can't remember, but Gary Busey is in it, and he's just fantastic. He's such a character in this. I love all the dialogue. It's so fun. I love the scene where Corey Haim gets his motorized wheelchair and he takes it for a spin. He's just like gunning it down the road, and I think he was doing wheelies or something in it too, if I remember. And yeah, it's just really cool. It's about a werewolf. The town's trying to figure out who's killing people, and you eventually find out. It gets pretty obvious who the werewolf is, but yeah, it's quite a classic. I like it quite a bit. The 4K looks okay, but it wasn't the most impressive I've seen. But yeah, I highly recommend this one. I rewatch this all the time. All right, next one. Another great one that's not quite accurate to the book, but I think you know what I'm talking about. The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. And this one, despite being inaccurate to the book, is actually quite good. I don't know if it's better than the book. It's definitely more concise and probably less confusing than the book. But yeah, it's very atmospheric. You know, it's got Jack Nicholson. It's got what's her name? Can't remember anyone's names today. Shelley Duvall. Danny Lloyd plays the kid, and yeah, it's just got a lot of really good shots that Kubrick's known for. A lot of just long shots. I love the shots of Danny riding his little like bike thing through the hallways. It's like a really low angle following him. There's a lot of psychological, crazy, supernatural scenes which are cool, and Jack Nicholson just blows everything out of the water with his performance. Yeah, he really hyped himself up to be crazy in this one, which is very cool. I love a lot of the outdoor shots as well, especially the intro when they're driving up to the Overlook Hotel. It's a piece of art. Let's just say that it's art. And this 4K is one of the best looking 4Ks I have for sure. I think, yeah, this version is in widescreen. I've also seen this movie in like a full frame version, like 4:3. And in that version, you can see, like in the intro scene, you can see the shadow of the helicopter doing the aerial shots. So it wasn't really meant to be seen like that. But this is the proper 16:9 format version. Yeah, definitely watch this on Halloween. It's good shit. All right, next up, we have this one, Rosemary's Baby, which kind of inspired some things about Silent Hill, particularly Silent Hill 1 and 3. It's an actor and his wife move into an apartment, and he's looking for, you know, movie parts, and eventually lands a deal, but the commercial, and I forget if he gets a TV deal or a movie deal, it comes with a price, and that is weird people that start coming in their life and messing with Rosemary here, played by Mia Farrow. I hate her haircut. When she cuts her hair off, it looks so bad. She looks so great before she cut the hair in this. But yeah, it's another like kind of psychological movie. They eventually have a baby, Rosemary's Baby, and something isn't quite right with her pregnancy, and could be demonic stuff involved. I mean, look at that cover. What does it mean? But yeah, it's very cool. The inside has I think this is the original cover for it. But let's see, what does it have included? Oh yeah, it has both the Blu-ray and the 4K disc, so that's cool. This one didn't benefit as much from the 4K format. it's like the best way to watch it, but I think the film they use is just really small, so it didn't really benefit. And I think it's mono only sound, so the sound isn't too impressive. It's kind of low quality, but it's very, very atmospheric and it puts you on edge. If you've never seen it, it'll be a nice surprise with the plot twist and everything. But I think most people have probably seen this if they're a horror movie fan. But yeah, definitely check this one out as well. All right, we got two more. This is one that I got recently, the Creepshow 4K Blu-ray. And you can see this badass steelbook, which I really like. Some people might not like that with the colors and the cartooniness, but I think it looks pretty cool. The inside looks pretty sweet as well. With the corpse guy, it's got the 2 discs with really cool artwork on the discs. But yeah, this is kind of a variety horror movie. So I think it's like like 3 or 4 short stories in this. And I think it's a collaboration between George A. Romero and Stephen King. So there's even a short story in this where Stephen King makes a cameo as the main character. But yeah, each story is pretty cool. I think they made a Creepshow 2, but I don't know if I've ever seen that, to be honest. I think different people made that one, but this is a classic. It works really well on the 4K format, like with all the practical effects. I think maybe Tom Savini might have worked on this as well, the special effects. So it's got some really good makeup effects in it. Very cool. I'd highly recommend this. All right, and this is another horror variety movie. What do you think it's going to be? It's Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, because this was a TV show, which I still haven't finished watching. I just watched a couple episodes of the TV show. But this is what I saw first. You can see Steve Buscemi's right there, Christian Slater. So, yeah, it's another series of short stories. Yeah, this one's George Romero as well, so that's probably why I got it originally. And you can kind of see the influence with Creepshow and this with George Romero. It's very akin to his style. So I really like, there's some cool stories in this. This one's kind of interesting. There's a demon who terrorizes this artist guy, and it tells him not to like tell anyone that he saw him. And then the guy eventually says something about it and stuff happens. But yeah, it's got some really cool stories in it. I like the one where I think there's, oh yeah, this one with Steve Buscemi is probably my favorite one, and Christian Slater. I think it's the first story. It's where they get a mummy from Egypt at their school. I think Steve Buscemi's character gets it, and he eventually kind of reanimates the mummy to have it take out his enemies. So it's very cool. I'd highly recommend this. I want the 4K Blu-ray of this one day, but this is just the regular DVD that I've had for a while. I have watched it on the 4K format though, and it looks really great. Just like Creepshow, it just works really well in the format because of the practical effects. But yeah, that is it. 10 recommendations for Halloween for you guys to watch. So I hope you guys have a really good Halloween and enjoy watching some horror movies. It's really fun to do that, right? All right, well, I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy. Peace out.